I'm listening to Rush Limbaugh right now. It's 12:27 p.m. Friday, the 19th of July, 2019. I'm listening to Rush on the EIB network, rolling mobile podcast, traveling for work, and I work as a U.S. defense contractor, as well as entertainer, rapper, and so I do a lot of things, man of many hats, like a wizard, and hey, so thank you for tuning in. I'll just get to the point, unlike some motherfuckers that just don't get to the goddamn fucking point. Communism. One of the things we, as Americans, need to know as a collective, as a whole, that a lot of folks, and I like Rush Limbaugh. I love what he does, what Larry O'Connor does, what Chris Plant does, what Ben Shapiro does, what Mark Levin does. I love it and commend each and every one of them and others who are conservative in nature. And so one of the things that people often forget and or do not know is that there are 45 stated goals of communism. You can look that information up. 45 stated goals of communism. I'm talking about an actual blueprint preceding today's age, time, era. And if you look back, pre-Cold War, I'm talking like the Cold War, like before, like leading up to the Cold War, there is actual doctrine that was created by the former Soviet Union. And it is to undermine the U.S., America, our Western way of life, our government, our nation, our country. The 45 goals of communism. It's spelled out very fucking clearly, quite clearly. Look it up. 45 goals of communism. Boom, it comes right the fuck up. And you can read each and every one of those. Now, I don't want to say 48 laws of power are communist. They're not. They're totally different and they're unrelated to communism. I actually follow the 48 laws of power. Thing about the 48 laws of power is that 48 laws of power are very well known by folks in the West and the East and around the world. Well, 45 goals of communism are not as well known by millennials and post-millennials and younger generations. They're totally, a lot of times, largely unfamiliar with the 45 goals of communism. If you ask the average millennial, post-millennial, have you ever heard of the 45 goals of communism? Are you familiar with the 45 goals of communism? Do you know what, say, 2 of them are in those 45 goals of communism? They have no fucking clue. They're unfamiliar. They're not privy to that information. I'm talking about a schematic. I'm talking about a blueprint. I'm talking about a plan, a strategy by communists worldwide to subvert and undermine America. 45 goals of communism. Google it, boom, comes right the fuck up. You can read through the shit that these socialists, these democratic socialists like AOC and all the others, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, Barack Hussein, all of them, man. All of them. Omar Ilhan, you name it. Presley, you name it. Each and every fucking one of them. They either know and or they don't know, but they are being puppeted. Okay? Someone is a puppeteer, puppet master of the marionettes and is pulling the strings of these fucking puppets. You know, like the ventriloquist dummies that I talk about, that I often talk about. The puppeteer, the ventriloquist puts her hand in the torso, okay, in the back spine, the fucking shell of the puppet, of the puppet dummy, right? The ventriloquist is the one that's manipulating the limbs, the mouths, okay? The mouth of the dummy, the mouths of the dummies, things, pulling the marionette strings. 45 goals of communism are in effect. They have been being operated and carried out by communist leaders around the world. Communist conspirators, communists, people who believe in communism. They espouse communism. They proselytize and extol and promulgate communism. They're fucking communists. They're the ones with the money that know that on the rungs, that is the echelon, the hierarchy, the wireframe diagram, on the levels beneath them, they know, like George Soros, they know that they can manipulate their little minions, some of whom know more than others, some of whom don't know shit, other than they themselves say that they're socialist or they're socialist Marxist or Marxist. Some are just out in the open and they tell you that they're fucking communists. Nonetheless, they're all fucking puppets.